Welcome to Strings and Pages. I'm Kevin Sullivan. This is the Rings of Hydra, The Great Escape. Chapter 5, I believe we're on. I will get right to it. Chapter 5. Rubber boots sloshed around the floor of Area 5. For all the odd places David Hagen had been in his life, this one took the cake and devoured it. If he had woken up here and someone told him he was on another planet, he might just believe them, and he wasn't alone. 4 workers waded through the strange environment. They were all first-timers, and they focused their attention on soaking in their new surroundings, just as much as they did on finding problematic pump housings to fix. This day had turned from mundane to surreal. Area 5 was towards the front of the massive subaquatic structure that was the lock. They hadn't gotten far beyond the entrance and gear up, and already their minds were blown. They walked above the bodies in the water and the ceiling which separated them. Essentially, they were in the space between the foam that floated the second ring above them and the lock and its prisoners in the Pacific Ocean below them. It was a hollow middle, tall enough where they couldn't reach the foam above, but low enough to induce a chill of claustrophobia. The foam ceiling was knotted and gnarled enough to offer an endless stretch of stalactites, dripping with condensation from the humid, stuffy air which they breathed. It came from the surface, pumped through the foam and into the chamber the Hagans sloshed around in. "It's amazing we can breathe in here at all," one of the workers said, gazing at the ceiling. "Aren't we technically under the surface too?" "We must be if there's foam above our heads," Joe said. "We did descend a long way to get here, and that foam floats the entire ring. This pocket must be encapsulated and fed with oxygen. I think I caught that much in the class." He stuck out his hand. "I'm Joe. This is my brother Dave." The worker offered his own. "Tanner," he said. "That's my friend Donna." Donna waved her gloved hand to say hello. "Nice to meet you both," David said. "We should keep moving. I wouldn't be surprised if they're paying extra attention to us on our first day in here." "This is critical infrastructure," Donna added. "I bet they've got eyes on us all the way." It was agreed. Work now, mingle later. But it was nice to have some new friends. Friends were crucial at a time like this, when any minute an unseen wall could give and millions of gallons of Pacific Ocean might come bursting in and sending the 4 to a watery grave. It almost would be more comfortable to have the diving gear on after all, even to work here on the dry floor. "I think I see one," Tanner said. He pointed outward and began to pick up his pace. "Take it slow," David warned, but too late. Tanner had tripped and splashed into the foot of water that was the floor. "Son of a!" he yelled. It would have been comical if the poor guy didn't have to spend the rest of his day soaked. Who were they kidding? They would all be soaked sooner or later. "Take my hand," Joe said, helping Tanner to his feet. His rubber boots and overalls did a decent job keeping his body from being submerged, but the man was still soaked from head to toe. "Oh, man, thanks though," he said. "I saw our first job and got all excited." A broadcast crackled to life. "Pump Team 3, you guys all right?" David glanced at the rest of the team while Tanner stretched for his radio. He found it and fumbled with the thing to answer. Yes, Pump Team 3, we're fine. Just tripped over something in the water." It was confirmed now. They were certainly being watched. "Solid copy," the radio said. "Careful down there. It's not a race." Tanner nodded and pointed to the spot he believed the breach to be. The team advanced to find that Tanner had a good eye. Something was wrong with this square. The floor on which the workers stood was segmented into countless modular sections, each one roughly 3 feet wide. Some slid back and forth for access. Some contained the housing for the pumps and pipes the team was here to fix, but most were just solid glass. The floor was also lit from within the glass, bright enough to see the glow through the foot of water they now walked through. "It's so crazy to think there's a person down there on the other side," Donna said, kneeling to inspect the square. "At least the poor bastard's knocked out cold. Would be a nightmare to witness that." "Ain't that the truth?" Tanner said. "What do you think the issue is?" David asked. He pulled the large burlap sack from his back, full of couplings, housings, reducers, all the parts given to him in Gear Up. Joe took his pack off and readied the tools for what they were about to find. "Does it look like a busted pipe?" Joe asked. "Boss said that would be the most common thing we find. Let me know if—" "Hold on, please," Donna said. "It looks like—" She looked closer, her hands in the water now, feeling around to identify where the hissing bubbles were coming from. "It feels like the entire oxygen pipe has been removed. Wait, the whole glass square is out of place." "What?" David asked. He'd been paying attention more than most in that class, and he remembered the boss saying something about sounding some kind of an alert if this were ever the case. "Hold on, Donna," he said. "Are you sure the entire square is—" David couldn't finish the question, as a violent splash came from the floor, followed by something that nearly gave Donna a heart attack. A prisoner exploded from the dark water and shoved Donna out of the way as he crawled like a slippery seal from his watery prison, naked and flailing, scrambling to get to his feet. He fell as soon as he did, splashed back down into the pool, and ripped at the mask attached to his face. The team was horrified by what they saw next. The naked prisoner kneeled now, grabbed both sides of the clear rubber mask wrapped around his mouth and nose, and pried it from his cheeks. It was more than just a mask, rather another tube that ran further down the man's throat. This too came out violently, ending with a painful shriek as the prisoner dropped the vile thing into the black water. The entire team stood frozen. They didn't know if they should tackle the guy who had miraculously and frighteningly escaped from this soggy fate, or offer some kind of help to this fellow human during his living nightmare. The choice was made for them, as the naked man gave the team one wild, panicked look, blood streaming from his mouth, his teeth drenched in crimson, and with another cry, splashed away in the opposite direction. Joe and Tanner helped Donna to her feet while David fumbled with the radio. The boss station beat him to the punch. "Team 3, it said, just as David had a hand on it. "Don't bother. We saw the whole thing." "What should we—" David began to ask. "Let him go," the radio said. "We've seen this before. It's rare, very rare, but it happens. Those panels move so that we can move people around automatically from the central station, but it creates a risk for the strong ones to break through the top. That guy's an animal. Best not to try and stop him. There's no escape from this place, and I'm sure he'll collapse somewhere." "Won't he drown if he does?" David asked, imagining them laughing at this question. "We'll be watching," is all the boss said, but David read between the lines. He knew they would let him drown, then peel him out of his place like a dead fish if the smell ever became too much. It was a disgusting feeling that this was the place he called work. "What should we do with this square?" he asked dryly. "Just shut that one down at the main valve and close it off best you can. We'll get around to replacing what we must. It's beyond you guys for now." David was fine with this. Easy peasy, shut it down. No problem. What was a problem was the realization that the soul they had just witnessed in his state of torture was just one fish in a giant sea, almost literally. It was a dark and sobering thought. Joe had the glass square down before being told, having heard the order directly from the radio. It was probably the easiest and hardest fix they would ever perform, and it was just their first one. Well, that was Chapter 5, Rings of Hydra, Great Escape. Pretty kind of crazy stuff, I know. But, you know what? There's a lot of crazy stuff out there. And again, this is a story. one I hope you're enjoying, and thank you very much for your time and your ears and your imagination. The like and subscribe button, those are my two best friends. Need some help? If you wouldn't mind, I would very much appreciate it. Love you. I'll see you on the page.
kpsbooks.net